Hey everybody, it's Rory from ANS Gear, and we're going to look at two different kits today. So we've got two pneumatic kits that we have listed on the website. And if you're not, or if you don't know what a pneumatic kit is, it is basically the front block assembly for an autococker style gun. I don't want to call everything an autococker, but a cocker, people refer to it as cockers. And it's the front block unit that would sit right at the front here. They would have all of the workings of the gun on the front. It's going to have the front block. Most of them will have a front block. If it's certain guns like a mini body or Resurrection, or not Resurrection, Carnivore, they have different front ends on them. But for the most part, you'll have a front block and you'll have a couple different pieces on there which make the gun cycle and cock itself and things like that. So we sell two different versions of the pneumatic kit. We sell one that is completely assembled and ready to just bolt onto the front. And then we also sell one that is just the pieces by themselves if you wanted to remove your pieces off and then put them on. So what you're going to get with the basic version, the non-pre-assembled version, you're going to get these three pieces right here. So you're going to get an ANS three-way right there. You're going to get a ram, and you're going to get what we call a jackhammer 2, which is an LPR. So it's your front end LPR. So you're going to get these three pieces, and these three pieces would be assembled onto your front block for whatever setup you've got going on right there. So typically on a front block like this, you're going to have a main port in the middle, which is where your front block screw, your banjo screw, whatever you want to call it, is going to go. The bottom, if you're looking at it from the front, the bottom left is where your three-way goes. In there, it threads in. Your LPR, so your low pressure regulator, is going to go into the bottom section on the bottom right, and then your ram assembly is going to go into the top right. And so that's what it's going to look like when you would stick it onto the front of your gun. And this would be on here like that. Now, if you get them pre-assembled, we'll build this kit for you. So everything will be on, everything will be Loctited in, and all you'll need to do is screw this onto this. You completely remove your whole front block assembly and you put it on. The difference again between the two kits is it doesn't come assembled, and with the cheaper kit, the unassembled kit, you do not get a front block. You don't get the front block screw. We're assuming that you already have that and you're going to mount these pieces onto your front block. You're going to get rid of your stock or low quality parts, and you're going to put our parts on there, definitely a much higher quality part on there. When you do put this together, let's say you buy the unassembled version and you're going to put all your pieces on. You do need to make sure that you Loctite your pieces in. So your three-way, you'll want to thread that in and Loctite that in there so that this does not rotate around while it is on your gun. A lot of people don't Loctite their three-ways on and they're sloppy. That can actually have an effect on the timing of the gun, because inside your three-way you have a rod inside here that has, oops, and come out the front, that has two O-rings on it, here and here. And depending on where those O-rings sit inside the three-way, when air comes in and out these barbs, when this is moving around inside here, it controls the airflow through the three-way. So if this is stuck on your front block here, and then you've got the barbs, or the three-way shaft inside there, which hooks up to your actuator rod along the side, that doesn't move except for when you pull the trigger. So it sits in a static position. If your three-way was to unscrew or rotate or move, you're changing where those O-rings are sitting inside the body, because the body is rotating around it on a thread, so it's moving left or right or in or out. And you can change the timing of your gun. So always set your three-way in and Loctite it down. Obviously you want to Loctite this in because this seals air. Air flows through here and through the block, so that needs to be tight as well. And then on the ram assembly, it does have an O-ring at the top. So if you happen to tighten it down and the threading lines up properly where you can snug it up against the body like that, it's not going to move, most likely. But let's say you thread it all the way in and it comes to tighten. It's sitting like this, where your barbs are sticking up. You can't do anything with that. You can't run your hose up and around. So you would need to bring this back down, Loctite that in place so that it sits like this. So on the assembled or the unassembled version, if you buy it and you need to assemble it yourself, you will need to Loctite all those pieces in, and you will need to get some pneumatic hose because you'll need to run your hosing from your three-way and your jackhammer to your ram, all those things. So getting it pre-assembled by us is actually easier. It's all done, the hosing is set up, and all you gotta do is stick it on there. It makes it super, super simple. One thing I will tell you, depending on whether you have a hinge frame or a slide frame, so a single trigger version or a double trigger version, the hosing will need to be switched. We typically set them up, I believe, for a slide frame. So a single trigger slide frame, the hosing goes a certain direction. If you have a double trigger or a hinge frame, you will need to reverse the hosing. So your hosing always will come off of your barb from your jackhammer and go up and into the middle barb of the three-way. And then depending on whether the hinge or the trigger, on a trigger, it's always resting in the front and you pull the trigger, on a slide, and it slides backwards, and that's your cycle. On a hinge, it's resting at the back, you pull the trigger and it slides forward. So you need to flip-flop the outside hoses, these two on the outside, depending on whether you're running a single trigger slide or a double trigger hinge. But always jackhammer to middle and then flip-flop the two depending on which slide or which trigger setup you're using. So if you buy it pre-assembled and you have the other version, you'll need to switch them. But it's very simple. You just pop them off and move them over. So that's what we offer as far as pneumatic kits. We offer the pneumatic kit unassembled off the front block. So it doesn't come with the front block, doesn't come with the screw, or you can get it all assembled where it comes with the front block, with the screw, with all the parts, Loctited in place, and already hosed and greased. So choice is up to you what you want to do. We make it easy or we make it a little more difficult. Some people like to do them themselves. So pneumatic kits, we offer both. Check them both out on the website. Order yours now through ansgear.com.